So here I am with Rob Gokee. Rob Gokee in the flesh.
Second time we've met in person.
It is. But I feel like I know you and, your pantsless self via Twitter and your book. So you are a composer / now self-produced author of In the Belly of the Fail Whale book. How did you go from composing to writing this book?
When I first got on Twitter, I got on Twitter to market myself as a composer, and the personal and professional changes that I had the first 12 months I were on there were just so tremendous that I thought I should write a book about the experience of being a composer and trying to make money and meeting all these people on Twitter.
Tell us sort of about your Twitter experience. I mean, obviously it's pretty intense to make you decide to write a book about it. Tell us how, I guess the short form of your book, how Twitter changed your life.
I've gotten more work as a composer from Twitter than any other place on the web. In fact, I'm working on 4 projects right now, and all 4 of them came from Twitter. Personally, I went through a breakup, and I was very open about it on Twitter, and I just needed a place to vent, and I chose Twitter as that place, and that's what...
A very appropriate place to choose.
Well, yeah, and personally, I was in a place where I really didn't care what people thought, and assumed they were all going to unfollow me, and then the opposite happened. Everybody started following and sharing their own stories, and could relate, and enjoy reading about my misery. So I guess it worked in my favor. And then as time progressed on, I met a lot of people, including a producer that became a friend, and then became more than friends, and suddenly we were dating, and it all came through Twitter.
That's awesome. You met your current love of your life through Twitter.
Yes, I did.
Actually, is it okay if I read a quick thing? I want to read you my favorite part of your book.
Okay.
I'm a very girly girl, though, so this is why it's my favorite. We'll get into the dirtier parts later. So, of course, you're talking about at Alicini, Twitter name,
right.
Allison, your girlfriend. And he says, anyway, I decided while driving across the desert that May 21st, our first date was our anniversary because, despite the hiccup, that was the day I started to fall in love with her. I just didn't know it at the time. Even reading it now, it still makes me go, ooh, warm and fuzzy.
It was like 2 weeks ago, a year, 2 weeks ago. Aww. I remember because we were coming back from a trip to Tucson for the Tucson Film Festival for a film that Allison had in the fest, and we were driving separate cars because we had a friend moving, and I was driving his car, and I'm not advocating texting and driving, but I was texting her, and we were arguing about what our anniversary date was, and I said, well, you know what, I'm just picking it. It's like, clearly we're not going to be able to decide, so I'm deciding now, and so it kind of ended because of the whole hiccup.
Actually, it's kind of funny. You right in that same chapter, you were talking about the texting and driving and how you kind of got a backlash from that.
I did once, and I made a joke. I wasn't actually texting and driving, and the person flipped out, and so I couldn't let it die and kept going until he blocked me.
In typical Rob way, right?
Yes, exactly.
I think it's interesting that in your book you call out a lot of your friends, and sometimes you say very mean things about them, obviously in sort of the Rob joking way. How do your friends, and even Alicini for that matter, feel about that?
Well, first of all, I don't make fun of Allison in the book.
Of course not.
If I did that. But the people that I made fun of are people that I make fun of on Twitter. And so I already I know where the boundaries are and what they think is funny and what they don't think is funny. And so I just kept it in the same tone in the book. In a lot of places, you'll see me make fun of somebody and then come back at the end of the paragraph and say, actually, this person is a really good friend in real life. Yeah. There's just people like Jamie Fishback that are a moving target constantly, and it's so easy to
I don't know what he's talking about, Jamie. I love you. You're awesome. So do you think that since your book, have they gotten more followers because of your book?
It's a good question. I don't know that anybody's come to me and said, it's been the opposite. People have said, you know what, I've started doing what you said to do, and I'm getting more followers.
I know it's in the book, so I don't know how much you can tell us, but can you tell us anything about sort of what you do, tell people to do to get more followers?
I tell people to be themselves and to be open, and human is like the most important thing, because if you're just tweeting about your business all the time and you don't care about what other people are doing, no one's going to bother clicking on your links. But if they think that you're invested in their lives, then they'll invest in yours.
So you pretty much wrote this and self-produced this book.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that process. I mean, anybody who's getting involved in it, do you say, don't do it, or?
No, it was actually incredibly easy, and I'd recommend it to anybody. Originally, we were going to do the traditional publishing route, and I looked into CreateSpace, which is owned by Amazon. It was very easy. It costs almost nothing to do. You upload everything. The hardest part is knowing how to format a book and how to create the cover and and as long as you have somebody to help you and do those parts of it, it's an easy experience, and it's not exclusive. So at any point, if traditional publishing wants to pick up the book, I can take the book back. And
Okay, so who is it? If someone wanted to publish their book, where would they go? Like you said, you just pay for them.
CreateSpace.com.
Okay, so CreateSpace.com.
Correct.
Okay, so I would go to CreateSpace.com. I would.
There's a whole how-to section which you can read about beforehand. It's very easy to understand, and they'll walk you through the steps and tell you what you're going to need before you do it. And there's even a template for the cover, and they
cool.
help you pick whether you want it to be completely color, completely black and white. There's a lot of options.
And then also they tell you, then once you publish through them and you pay your fee, then they blast it out to all the other places like Amazon.
Exactly.
And then how does payment work with that kind of thing?
Through Amazon, Creative Space, they'll sell to anybody that, let's say somebody, Stories, for instance, orders through Ingram and ordered 15 books. They would buy them through Create Space, or the money would actually come through Create Space, and then I would get paid from them, and so they pay you monthly. If I ordered the book myself and sell it, obviously I make more because there's no middleman. When you sell it through Amazon will take a percentage of the book before they give it back to you. But a lot of people feel more comfortable ordering through Amazon than just a PayPal link on a website.
So this morning, this is very bizarre. I don't tend to listen to my iTunes music list sort of as a free-for-all. Right. But I was this morning while I was getting ready. And suddenly this song comes on that I'm getting the willies from. And I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? And I go look, and it's your song, Evil Awaits. It was pretty creepy.
Which is a really creepy song. I get that on Twitter a lot. Somebody was cleaning their house and listening to that. It's like, why? Why would you listen to that music cleaning your house?
I quickly changed it. It was very spooky. So what kind of music what's your favorite, what's your passion for composing?
It changes and morphs a little bit. Comedy used to be the thing that I dreaded the most because I had the least experience in, but I've done so much more of it now that I like doing comedy. I love writing horror. I don't necessarily I'm picky in terms of what horror movies I'll watch. I like to listen to dramatic and action scores.
Yeah.
Drama is fun to write, especially when it's dark drama, just because it's easy to get into that headspace. Action is difficult, but it's the most rewarding because when you put all the pieces together and it sounds cohesive, it's a great experience. I'm Gokee. I'm a composer for film, TV, and web series, and an author, and I'm making it happen.